Hi class, my name is Joyce Yun and today I'll be talking about the Gorkha earthquake. In this presentation, it will be divided into 4 sections: geological, human and social, environmental, and changes and implementations. First section, geological. We'll be explaining the earthquake and its magnitude. The earthquake took place in Kathmandu in central Nepal on April 25th, 2015. The magnitude was 7.8. The earthquake occurred on the convergent collision plate boundary between the Indian and Eurasian plates. It was caused by a sudden thrust or release or built up stress along the major fault line. This is also known as the main Himalayan thrust. This was where the Indian plate is slowly diving underneath the Eurasian plate. Here are some diagrams to show what exactly took place and where it took place. As you can see, the tension is building up here, and the Indian plate is going under the Eurasian plate. And here in this diagram, we're able to really see the exact location of the epicenter and the close proximity it has to Kathmandu. So let us continue. So in the second section, we'll be talking about the human and social impacts. Because of this earthquake, there was 9,000 deaths and 22,000 injuries. And many times, help was limited because of the fact that many facilities were destroyed. Talking about health facilities that were destroyed, in general, building and infrastructures were very bad. In total, 700,000 buildings in the area were destroyed, and more than 1,000 health facilities and 5,000 schools were completely destroyed. In addition, because of the destruction of these buildings, hundreds of thousands of people ended up becoming homeless because their entire villages were flattened. And many people ended up sleeping outside due to the aftershock of the possibility of houses destroying, which is quite dangerous because the weather in Nepal at night is quite cold and quite horrendous. So, talking about more impacts, about 1.7 million children were driven out of shelters or families, and 950,000 children were not able to return to school. In addition, many harvests and livestock ended up dying, and this caused many civilians to have to give up what they have for extremely low prices. Overall, 1/3 of the people affected by the earthquake say the government hasn't addressed their main reconstruction needs, according to the survey done by the Interagency Common Feedback Project. And before the earthquake, the reality of Nepal was that they did not have the best infrastructure. Therefore, any magnitude of the earthquake was going to do great damage. And in this situation, it was quite a strong earthquake. The third section is environmental. In this section, we'll be explaining the environmental impacts. The impact was that it affected more of the actual country than the countries around it, making it less global. However, this does not limit the fact that the destruction made ended up with many wildlife to die and be displaced, and the systems that it affected were the lithosphere and the biosphere. Regarding this, the natural disaster of the earthquake ended up creating more natural disasters in the country. There were 20 deaths because of the avalanche that took place on Mount Everest, and there are 250 deaths because of the landslides that took place in the villages. And in this picture, this is a landslide that took place in the village of Godabatabela, and it was completely covered and it had 250 deaths. Lastly, the changes and implementations that took place because of this earthquake. Due to the earthquake, the government had no choice but to really dive into these issues and create a task force that was created to help and deal with future earthquakes. In addition, a lot of the areas were marked to limit and control damage taking place. Furthermore, a public policy of educating Nepalians on earthquake drills were also made, helping to limit any casualties that could take place if an earthquake were to happen again. In addition, they are more alert, and they have created a continuous system to be alert and continuously watching the fault lines in the area. However, overall, the country is still going under um, restoration. However, it was quite difficult because even though this earthquake took place in 2015, no reconstruction is ever fast or easy, but it's more difficult when a pandemic hits, killing thousands more due to illnesses and what we know as COVID-19. However, the country has been able to actively work towards stability and is continuously still rebuilding the country to be where it is meant to be at. Here are my sources, and thank you for watching and joining me on this presentation. Thank you.